you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, this is Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. There you go. When the Iron Lady sings, that makes official. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the big show. For over 16 years and 2,300 episodes of bringing the Chris Voss Show. The most amazing minds, the most amazing people, the most amazing stories. Sounds like I wrote that on purpose. And they come share with you their journeys, their cathartic moments, the things that they learned in the lessons of life to make your life better. That's the motto of the Chris Voss Show podcast, folks. We make your life better. Damn it. Go to goodreads.com /Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com /Chris Voss, Chris Voss1 on the TikTokity and all those crazy places on the internet. Today we have an amazing young couple on the show. We're going to be talking about their insights, what they do, and how they do it in terms of health and wealth. Today we have a British couple, and a British-Dutch couple. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be inexclusive to the Dutch as well. We want to, or the British, or both. We got it. It's all Europe, really, when it comes down to it, right? Anyway, Ania and Dion-Rene Hulsman join us on the group. We're going to be talking to them about their insights and what goes on. And I'm sure I lost pretty much most of the British and Dutch crowd at this point. But we'll get them some new wooden shoes or something and make it up to them. So they are a British-Dutch couple. They do peak performance, organizational, and leadership development specialists. They're on a mission to help business owners of scale-ups to achieve what they call holistic health, wealth beyond money. They firmly believe there are 3 pillars to a wealthy life in order: a thriving business that supports your life, not the other way around, fulfilling personal and intimate relationships, and excellent physical and mental health. A lot of what they're doing with their clients is based upon their own life experiences, backed up by research. And they do a different form from other business coaches and consultants, and put the owner in the center of everything and focus on the whole person. They call it the iceberg metaphor. We'll have to find out what that's about. It sounds Titanic. Welcome to the show. How are you, ladies and gentlemen?
Thank you. Excited to be here.
There you go. The Titanic metaphor. You like how quickly I got a reference pulled out for that?
Yeah. We might need to rethink our logo now.
Yeah. Well, icebergs are good. They're pretty. You just put a polar bear, waving on one with a Coke in his hand. You should be fine. So give us your .coms or .companies. Where do you want people to find you on the interwebs to get to know you better?
So we are, you can find us at holisticwealth.company. And holistic is spelled starting with a W.
Like whole.
Whole.
So do you pronounce it holistic?
Yes, we do.
Like the whole, because it's, we're looking at the whole picture, not just part of it. And also holistic with just an H is a bit overdone. So
yeah. And you basically believe in balancing your health and your wealth and all that good stuff, and both are pretty vital for getting through last time I checked.
Yeah, it's interesting how people forget that, isn't it?
Yeah. So give us a 30,000 overview of what you guys do there at the website.
So we help entrepreneurs create that holistic wealth. So we the wealth beyond money, if you like. It focuses around those three pillars. People that find us are normally in a situation where they still work really hard and they're paying the price. So they are surviving rather than thriving. And we help them support them to turn that around, basically.
There you go. Do you want to jump in here, Ania? Maybe your
yes,
thoughts?
I'm not just the pretty face. I'm not just like the...
Yeah, I usually give, when I have 2 guests, I give both input. We play fair here.
Yeah, so what's great about what we do is like Dion was saying, we support entrepreneurs to thrive, not survive, because entrepreneurs are the backbone of society, and we really believe in what entrepreneurs do, and believe that if we can support them to be at their best, they then can contribute even more. They literally shape culture and the economy and so much. Plus, they're fun people to be around.
Yeah, that's right. Entrepreneurs are fun people to be around. Damn it.
Especially you.
We are sometimes, yeah. Well, thank you. I'll take that. Well, we try to be funny because if it was hope springs eternal in human nature. So there you go. It's how we get through life. Go ahead.
Can I jump in again?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So, how we're different as well is that Dion brings in a gazillion. He's a dinosaur, actually. You said he was young. He's not. He's
Whoa. This just in. Ania threw him under the bus. Chris Voss Show. Tune in Tuesday.
You told me young at the start. I was so happy and proud.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling good about myself.
We do that on purpose, but we love all of our guests that come on the show. So.
The point was going to be that he's got a gazillion years of business experience.
Okay.
Huge companies, companies of all sorts of sizes. Yeah. And then I come in with the coaching, the mindset work. Mm-hmm. And it's a really nice combination where we not only work on strategy that actually works, it's tried and tested, but also help people to free themselves of their internal blockages, which is often the largest part of the work that needs to be done.
Mm-hmm. There you go. And so tell us, how did you guys get into this field? How did you guys get together and working on this, and how did it develop, sort of thing? And how have you been doing it? I know that I think you're based in the Netherlands, but I imagine you work with people throughout the whole world. So give us your guys' story, and I'll let each of you throw in what you want. So take turns.
You're allowed to talk to him.
Right, I'll give the reins for you to talk about how we met. You tell about the story than I did. We met, we got together. That's it. But that's a bigger story.
Well, that's a good story. Yeah, it's always good. It's hard to find your person in this world, and so if you can find a person who can, put up with you, you're in business. That's what I say.
Straight, direct, to the point.
See, I haven't found anybody to put up with me. So that's why I have a podcast. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ania.
That's totally fine. So we've got two different stories, really, because we're two different people. And I'll share my story. My story is that I was undiagnosed neurodivergent for a really long time, trying to figure out my place in the world and understand why things were not working for me. Oh, wow. And long story short, I got into coaching, and things started changing very, very quickly for me once I did that. And one of the things I did was enroll on a course, and I met this guy there, this Dutch guy who I actually thought was batting for the other team when I first met him. And that ended up being my husband.
There you go. Well, yeah. Sometimes, ladies, the best men are at the gay bars. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I don't know why we're both taking turns. Throwing poor Dion under the bus. This isn't right.
He's actually done that, though, Chris.
Is he? Well, You're both wonderful. You look wonderfully young to me, and I'm old, so I can say that. So you did you get Ania? I didn't mean to cut you off if you were finishing there. I'm just trying to.
I've got ADHD. I can't remember.
You and me, squirrel. It's one of my favorite problems that I have with myself: OCD and ADHD. So you guys kind of handle two different things. You guys have how long have you been doing this now for?
We've been collaborating for a few years, but launched the business. That's been going for about a year now.
Yeah. There you go. And what do you find most people come to you that are what are they having issues with? What's a popular issue that people are like, hey, this looks infected. Can I get some help?
Amputate.
That's easy.
It's a life.
Sounds like my first 10 marriages. her first 10 divorces. I think it's supposed to be divorces. Anyway, callback joke. So tell us about that. What do a lot of people come to you? You find that they're really struggling with nowadays, and maybe some stories or some things where you've helped them.
What would you say?
So generally, entrepreneurs who are putting in like that all their time and effort and energy and money, and they're not seeing a return. And the further
you're supposed to see a return?
Oh yeah, didn't I tell you? Nobody tells you what business.
What's a profit? What's a profit?
Yeah. So there you go. And then generally the next thing that happens is their relationships start to suffer, and their health goes, both physical and mental health. And I mean, I ticked all the boxes in my past, and at some point I was forced to think, well, why isn't this working? So that's how we got onto this path. And then I met this wonderful woman who had a totally different approach to problems and to solving situations. I think that's interesting. And then we realized we were sort of sharing clients back and forth, and so, well, if we're doing that anyway, why don't we then just formalize?
There you go.
Yeah. And in terms of the types of problems that people come with us to, that grammar did not work at all, did it? Doesn't matter. Ignore that. I'm the native English speaker here. It does vary because everyone is so individual. But I can think of a client who was just like a magician, like in terms of being an entrepreneur. Every idea he had, he could monetize and grow. But he was really frustrated because he felt like everybody wanted stuff from him the whole time, and he was getting quite resentful. And it just turned out that he didn't realize that he was a pleaser, and that he was just giving everybody everything and did not push back at all, and didn't have any boundaries to protect himself. And once he started to notice that and just implement better boundaries, like, for example, not taking phone calls after 6 p.m. in the evening so he could actually have dinner with his kids, right?
Yeah.
Things started changing enormously for him. And and then there are many more examples where you have entrepreneurs, people who started their businesses themselves and got quite far, but were doing work which really an assistant could have been doing, or a VA. You had a great example of that, didn't you?
Yeah. Yes, people doing work that they actually paying other people to do. I was working with this one entrepreneur, and he was always short of time. We did we looked at how do you spend your time. So, this really draining thing I need to do. I spent 2 hours approving 100 invoices per week. And then we checked the 100 invoices, and there were like 3 that actually deserved his time and attention. And the rest was just standard stuff. It's the rent, the office. But feeling the need to control, I need to understand where the money goes. And it's time that way.
Entrepreneurs do have a hard time delegating and balancing their life. I'll speak from personal experience. When I started my first multi-million-dollar company, I'd started a few trial startups before that. But the first one that hit, we were just a bunch of kids. We had $2,000. We had an idea, and that was it. And we had the ability to work 18-hour days because we were 20-year-old kids. And so we went to it. But, we didn't have a lot of money. But we were driving delivery vehicles that we'd started a delivery service, and we were living in the car. So we were eating at McDonald's and, all over the road with fast food at the time. And I literally put on like probably 100 pounds just in the first 6 months, or maybe 50 pounds. And I went from the skinny kid to being overweight. And I just kind of told myself for about 10, 15 years that the thing is to put the money in the bank, and then I'll catch up on that gym stuff later. And I literally did. I didn't start going to the gym till about 50, and I really regret it now looking back. I mean, it's not something I lose sleep over. It is what it is. But I tell younger people, I'm like, hey, don't be like Chris Voss. But get to the gym, take care of your health. And what happens is you don't balance it well. And I didn't balance it well either. I started drinking vodka and going, okay, well, here's some sugar fuel for staying up longer and doing more work that I need to get done. And of course, not what's the word I'm looking for? Not basically getting other people to do some of the grunt work. I mean, always about in control, and you're like, no one can do it better than I can. And so it was really hard. And so, it started to reach a point where my work-life balance, trying to keep a relationship or date in my life, just everything was my business, and it consumed me. And, I was eating like the worst food, putting on weight, feeling like shit. And it was just a horrible way to live. Looking back, I wish I would have taken a little bit more time to take better care of myself.
Yeah, I think that's something that gets missed. And a lot of entrepreneurs, I think, are talking, it's beginning to get a bit more traction, that maybe growing really fast is not worth you sacrificing your health and your intimate relationships for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you can kill yourself. You can literally stress yourself to death.
Dion, do you know how many heart attacks Dion has had? I think he may have broken some kind of record, or maybe close.
Was it when he met you? So beautiful.
Yeah, there you go. I didn't even need to tell her I loved her. It was obvious.
There you go. I mean, yeah, my I remember my one ex-CEO that I worked for. It was the last guy I worked for before launching that company, and he kind of finished off my education that I needed. And I remember he said to me once, he goes, I said to him, I go, why do you show up in shorts? And he looked like a vagabond homeless, which I do most of the time too. I copied him. But this is in the 90s, before, the billionaires like Mark Zuckerberg started dressing down and they didn't wear suits. And I said to him, I go, how come you don't wear a suit when you come to work? You just come in shorts and flip-flops and, this line of food that's down this shirt that you bought clearly from Sears. And he goes, Chris, if I dress relaxed, I'm relaxed and I can focus on what I need to think about. He goes, there's something about a suit that makes me just feel uptight and formal. And I just feel like I'm in kind of a rigid thing. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. And then I put on my suit and I was like, yeah, I do kind of feel with the suit, I feel very different than when I'm in shorts and flip-flops. And he said, look at my accountant. He goes, Chris, he's going to Florida to have his 4th heart bypass surgery. He wears a suit. He's an accountant. I mean, he's killing himself with the stress of his business. And he goes, so I try and dress down so I can enjoy life. And so when I got my companies and the stress became overwhelming, I started wearing shorts and dressing down and flip-flops, and I found I could get more hours. But, it was a way of, I know it sounds funny, but it was a way of self-care. My employees would be like, how come you get to wear shorts? And I'm like, it's Boss Appreciation Day. And they go, yeah, but you wear shorts every day. And I go, every day is Boss Appreciation Day. That's how that works.
Well, I should have known this 15 years ago. Literally, I will work on the weekends, and I dressed up in a suit because it didn't feel like work if I wasn't wearing a suit.
Oh, well, there you go.
So, yeah.
I
Quite the opposite.
didn't know that about him.
Yeah, definitely.
He had a different wife then.
Yes, and so I find being relaxed, like I never thought about it until he said it to me, and I was like, huh. And then, there's been times throughout my life where I've tried to get better health and eat better, and then I finally did. I finally got off the Mountain Dew and the vodka and started eating veganese, let's put it that way. I started eating more salads and more healthy live foods, and that really started to balance out my life. And I started discovering stuff. That's why I quit alcohol. I was listening to my body and getting to know it through eating better and exercising a little bit more. And then I was just like, hey, I can really tell the effects of vodka on me for 3 days of dehydration and bloating and water gain. And I'm like, this isn't fun. I drank for a couple hours on Friday, and it really changes after 50. Your body goes, we're not doing this with you anymore. Like, no, fuck you. This was cool when you're 20 and 30 and 40 maybe, but no, not today, not anymore. And so I had a good run.
I think there's a whole host of these like cultural things that we do because everybody else is doing them, and we don't stop to question them. But when we do, we realize that there are a whole load of possibilities that open up to us and make our lives infinitely better.
Mm-hmm. And so it's important. I like how you have the whole in your name, WHOLE. We should probably make that specific in the holistic part of your thing, because most people, when they think of holistic, they just think of maybe eating well or maybe some spiritual stuff, right? They don't think of the money, wealth part of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and if you're healthy yourself as an entrepreneur, you work on making your business healthy. We talk about that as well. It's you can have a sick business if you don't take certain care of certain aspects of your business. And for example, the way that you manage your people, or if you allow toxic behavior inside of your business, for example, it can make your business really sick and also not perform well.
Yeah.
We love that whole idea of taking care of the whole. Am I doing all of the talking now?
Well,
No, you're fine.
You don't have the funny accent that I do. So
there's no limit. It's a podcast. You can talk as much as you want.
You'll go all night.
There you go. Well, I like that too, because like I said, I had this mindset. I think a lot of people do. They're like, I'll put off my family, time with my family. I'll put off time eating right, and I'm just gonna go. And I was. I mean, fast food kind of is a fuel. I mean, it's a shitty fuel, and it's going to burn and give you fat. But it kind of had that dopamine hit that you needed. And then alcohol for me was like it was a sugar bomb, really, when it came down to it. And so what would help me is I get to the end of my night, I'd be working my ass off on my companies, and I'd be like, oh, okay, there's a few more folders I got to do, or a few more loans I got to approve, or some accounting I got to do. I'm tired, and I just found that if I drank some, usually vodka or whatever it was, but if I drank some hard liquor, I would get like this sugar juice fuel, and I would also relax, and the relaxing was like a component for that. And so I would feel, and this is dumb because I'm sharing this for that purpose. I would feel, okay, I'm relaxed, and then I've got a little bit of sugar jump, and so I would drink and finish my work at night, and then I even thought it made me sleep better, which it does not, folks. Do not believe that shit. But that was my juice for a long time, and I let my health go. Personal relationships struggled, those that I could find. I mean, it was all about my companies and my business. And so, in the short term, I guess what I'm trying to say is, in the short term, there are ways that you think that you're cutting the corners, and you're beating the system of eating poorly and drinking poorly and not taking care of your health while you're trying to focus on filling that bank account. And if you don't have energy, if you don't have health, it's really hard to do your business. I mean, it really is.
And at one point, your body will tell you, if you're not listening, then I'll take a decision for you.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
Exactly.
Here's the ER for you there, buddy.
Yeah.
Have fun with that.
For me, it always felt like the carrot on the stick. Like, just another quarter, and then we'll be okay, and then I can let go.
Yeah.
Why not this, that client?
Yeah.
Well, this product that we need to bring to market, and there's always an excuse.
Yeah.
And then when you look back, it's you've left like a trail of destruction.
Not only that, but actually for men specifically, it lowers your testosterone to eat that crap.
Oh, does it? Yeah. It's got a lot of estrogenics.
And you start losing your power.
Mm-hmm.
And for women as well, I mean, it just completely messes up female cycles. A lot of the health issues that women have are diet related,
really?
and stress related. So if we can take care of our bodies by what we eat, but also what we drink, and also how we allow ourselves to relax, and actually take time off and allow those creative juices to flow, and that also opens up the more potential for any person. If you're uptight and stressed the whole time, you're not performing at your best.
That's very true. The one thing I can confirm on that is as you age, I think that was the other thing. You don't take into account the age process. So I always thought I could juice forever. Like I could be like, okay, shot of vodka, here we go. We'll do this run. People drink until their old age, yada, yada, yada. But for me, I have a high tolerance for everything, including aspirin and you name it. I think penicillin is the only thing that's like a miracle drug for me. Like I can be dead and you give me penicillin, I'll come back to life. It's really weird. But everything else takes like, 5,000 pounds and hit through the liver and kidney. So, so I thought it would be useful, but what I didn't plan on was as I aged, my body, not being taken care of, neglected, abused, really, it would just be like, yeah, we're not doing this with you anymore. We're going to make your life miserable. We're going to make you feel like shit. We're going to make it hard to get up in the morning. We're going to make it hard to go to sleep at night. We're going to just make you feel miserable. And you want to eat McDonald's and all that crap? Yeah, we're going to give you rock gut that, it just sits there at night, your gut, and like an acid brick. And, at one point I was going through, I think, a bottle of Rolaids. Like I was going through 2, 3, 6 Rolaids a night.
What's a Rolaid?
Rolaid's it's a stomach antacid here in America.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
There's Tums, maybe. I don't know if you guys have Tums over there. But it's an antacid that you take when you've got acid reflux and stuff.
Yeah.
My acid reflux was like, it was bad. I would sleep at night and it would come up my pipe and
Oh,
burn.
that sounds awful.
Oh, well, it was vodka and Mountain Dew and McDonald's. And so, yeah, I lived that life. And yeah, like I say, I regret not taking better care of myself. The other thing you mentioned was taking vacations. Like one of my problems was I wouldn't vacate. I wouldn't take vacations. I wouldn't take breaks. And I'd be like, what's a vacation? Like even now, like whenever there's a holiday, I'm like, what? Time off? You guys get a day off or something? Or worse, I'll be like, hey, how come the money isn't going through the bank right? Like what? There's no one's taking money out of the account today. Like what is there something going on? And it's like, oh yeah, it's a bank holiday. So I'm like, oh, that's usually how I find out about holidays too. Like, why isn't the bank and why isn't there no mail? And like, it's a holiday, Chris. I'm like,
traffic jam.
I didn't get the message. And they're like, well, we all got days off. And I'm like, I'm an entrepreneur. There's no such thing. But no, I learned to do like weekend jaunts where I would go up to Airbnbs. I'd go for drives to Vegas back and forth. I would try and spend some quiet time with myself and just enjoy stuff. I'd fly out to Catalina or different places, sit on the beach, and just try and decompress. At one point, I was having to go get a 2-hour massage every weekend, and if I didn't, my employees the next week would be like, "You didn't get your massage this weekend, did you?"
They were booking
like,
it for you.
and I'm like, yeah, how'd you know? And they're like, "'Cause you're a bear. You are an ornery bear when you don't get your thing, and we don't like it." So I was like, wow. I'm going to get voted out of my own company because I don't get a massage. But and I'm sure I was. But so anyway, final thoughts on that, and give people a pitch out on how they can reach out to you, get to know you guys better, see if you're fit, how they can onboard, maybe some of the types of people you're targeting, executives or something like that.
Yeah. So targeting entrepreneurs of scaling businesses. Generally between 10 and 150 people. So the sweet spot, I think, is around 50 that we do. Mm-hmm. Like I said, people that feel that they're stuck in growing and it's taking a toll on their lives. Contacting us, holisticwealth.company. I guess we need to put the name in the show notes because people forget about the W at the beginning.
Definitely have it. You'll find it there.
Definitely.
Yeah, and everybody's welcome to contact us for a chemistry call, just for us to understand what they're doing and where they're getting stuck, and if we're the right people to support. One of the things that we didn't mention actually is that we collaborate with other experts with different qualifications and different experiences, just to have, again, a much more holistic perspective and be able to support in ways. We don't have all the knowledge in the world, so we bring in the right people to support our clients. And we work one-on-one. We work with groups, and we are launching a program soon called Escape the Hustle.
Escape the hustle.
Yes.
I like that. Why is it important to escape the hustle? We'll squeeze that in as we go out.
Because there is more to life than hustle. We should all be enjoying life.
That's true. You know, one of the, I guess I'll drag the show a little bit farther here. You know, one of the things I always had was I would get really triggered by people who say this to me. They go, Chris, you need to calm down. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. And I'm like, no, it's about the destination. You know, I grew up poor. So for me, it was trying to heal that wound. And, you know, maybe a psychiatrist or a therapist would have been better. But, you know, I was trying to overcompensate. And so it took me a long time to learn that lesson, that it's about the journey and not the destination. And, yeah, it was, but finally I did. It's about the journey and the importance of looking around as you go. It goes by fast. It goes by so fast. And just being able to care about the people who love you, you know, the people who support you. You know, I wasted so much time with just people that were like, as long as Chris is buying, we're good. Yeah. And then you cut them off finally, and they're like, you're an asshole. I always thought you were an asshole. And you're like, oh, that's great. So, you know, I learned to focus on the good people that are in your life that support you and are part of your life, and being, you know, I mean, intimate with them, not just in maybe a partner way, but also intimate with your friends, family, and talking to them and making sure that, you know, you're giving them your time and focus and getting the best of yours, because that disappears quickly too. Either, you know, anybody can go at any given moment, and suddenly you're like, I wish I had said more. So that's my final thoughts. Thanks for coming on the show, guys. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. And thanks, Mounties, for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1 on the TikTokity, and all those crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.